Let's jump right into the things you need to know about in the world of wrestling this week, starting with there's been a lot of speculation on when Charlotte Flair is returning to the WWE. Now, guys, Charlotte hasn't been seen since May 8th of 2022, of this year. That was WrestleMania Backlash. She had a match against Ronda Rousey. I think that was the I Quit match. If I'm not mistaken, that was the I Quit match for the SmackDown Women's Championship that Charlotte finally lost and Ronda went over with. And I have that match down as possibly, I think I have that match down. We're coming up quickly on the Notorious Nerdy D Wrestling Year End Award show. And I do believe that I have that match down as a Match of the Year candidate. So I'll have to see if it makes it all the way to, we still got a couple weeks before we finalize that list, but it's definitely on there. And I thought that match was possibly Ronda Rousey's best match ever. As far as her, as far as WWE and wrestling career go, I think that was her best. I think it was the match that kind of brought me around to liking Charlotte Flair. So yeah, I mean, that was a solid match. But right after that, WWE wrote Charlotte off of TV by saying that I believe they called it a broken arm. They said she suffered a broken arm at the hands of Ronda Rousey, when in reality, we all know that Charlotte was taking time off to get married to her fiance Andrade, and I think she went on a honeymoon. So Charlotte's kind of resurfaced here in the last couple days. She posted on an Instagram story a picture of herself wearing wrestling boots again, along with a couple clips from some WWE television, some old videos of herself. Now, we're 9 weeks away from the Royal Rumble, which is where I suspect that we're going to see Ronda Rousey again. She's probably going to be a surprise entrance, and her odds to win this thing are probably going to be considerably high. We've waited this long. Why would WWE spoil that by bringing her back in this 9-week gap that we have? Unless Triple H just panics and he needs people for television and he needs surprises to keep the ratings from dropping during this weird long break. I suspect we're going to get some kind of holiday special show, like a SmackDown Super Show is what I'm suspecting. I think we will. But the bigger question here is what is Charlotte going to do when she returns at the Royal Rumble? Let's say she wins, or even if she doesn't win, there's still roughly there's 3 months in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania that she has to find some things to do. And I don't think that can just be, setting up this big WrestleMania match with Bianca Belair. Because the rumor is she's going to set up an angle with Bianca Belair for WrestleMania 39. But until then, I think it's best that Charlotte Flair avoids going straight after the championship. Because that's kind of been a knock on Charlotte Flair, that she's a little bit one-dimensional when it comes to being able to work television, is that she's either a champion or she's chasing a championship. So I'd like to see her come in and feud with someone, maybe a Shotzi, maybe a Liv Morgan, someone lower on that mid card that she could give a little bit of a rub to. She could give a little bit of a push to. Someone to kind of get back, to ease herself back into the thing, like ease herself back into the groove. What I don't want to see, for sure, 100%, I don't want to see Charlotte come right back in and feud with Ronda Rousey. Like, keep those two away from each other. We've had our fix. I've had way more than enough of Ronda Rousey than I can stand for this year, and I definitely don't want Charlotte jumping right back into that. One thing that I'm very interested in is to see how Charlotte has evolved her character. Because if she just returns as the same old Charlotte Flair, I'm not sure how well her and Bianca are going to be able to build towards WrestleMania 39 with the dynamics the current way they are. Because Bianca is not a strong front runner, and I don't know that Charlotte is going to do well chasing Bianca. I think those dynamics are a little strange, so something's going to have to give. But Charlotte has always said she likes to come back and kind of reinvent herself. So I'll be interested to see what she does when she comes back. Another feud that I think might be interesting for Charlotte to jump back into would be something with Bayley. That could be fun. I don't know who would work as the babyface in that program, because Charlotte has gone on record and says she doesn't enjoy working as babyface. And I think that Bayley has established that Damage Control, they work well as the heels. And now I could see Damage Control working as a babyface group. I think Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley, they all can work babyface, but I don't know. I think they've kind of established themselves in a heel role, so I don't know that that would work, but I do think that just seeing Bayley and Charlotte, two of the 4 horsewomen, back in the ring together would be fun, because they've both they've gone on 2 different kind of hiatuses at different times, so it's been a while, and that would feel a little bit fresh. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see, with all of these players hanging around as we come into the WrestleMania 39 stretch here, because we're basically in it. I think it really starts after WrestleMania, but we can cheat here and start it, a few weeks early. And as we kind of run into that, I think Triple H has some interesting decisions to kind of sort out here, because there's only a limited number of spots in WrestleMania 39. And he's accumulated quite the roster of women to possibly fill those spots. Now we know the rumor. The rumor right now is that we're getting Becky versus Ronda, and we're getting Charlotte versus Bianca. I don't believe that's where we'll end up. I believe there's too many other options. Right now, I look at WWE women's division as I have main event players, and I kind of have the fringe main event players who are right there on the edge of getting to that position. And if you look at the main event players, I think you're talking about Bayley, you're talking about Rhea Ripley, you're talking about Charlotte, you're talking about Becky, Ronda, and Bianca. Those are your 6 that I think are solidified as they can main event a show, and most people don't have a problem. Rhea Ripley being on the fringe of that, I think she's established herself and elevated herself to that level. But the other 5 for sure can main event a night 1 WrestleMania, or just be a high functioning match in that night. Right after those 6, I think there's 5 right now that are kind of, and maybe this is 6 really, that are on that fringe of possibly elevating themselves to that next level. And I think number 1 is Raquel Rodriguez. She's right there. She just needs a little bit of better booking, a little bit of a push, a consistent push, and I think she'll be there and she'll be available for main event. Probably not 39, but by 40, I think Raquel Rodriguez will be a mainstay in the spotlight. I think, once Alexa Bliss, once we figure out what's going on with her, I think she'll catapult herself back into that top tier. I think Asuka is somebody who kind of is a balancing act, that she can go to the top tier, but she tends to be used more on that second level of superstar. And then you have Liv Morgan, who is somebody who I've been critical of, but she did prove in that short title run that she's capable of being in the main event. I don't know that she's capable of holding the championship and holding people's attention, but definitely after the post Liv Morgan championship era has shown her to be, a little bit more extreme and fun to watch. And then lastly, I think that Damage Control is on their way they're on the bottom rung of that mid-tier group of women. They have a ways to go if they want to get into that main event picture, but I think that they have the capability to eventually get there.